Have you ever felt like you were meant to build something big? Yet the weight of responsibility sometimes makes you freeze instead of move. Have you ever wondered why you can dream so far ahead, but your heart still struggles with trust, rest, and the simple joy of being present? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are exploring the symbolism people often connect with being born on the 22nd, sometimes called a master number theme. We are going to keep this grounded and practical. A number is not a prison. A number is a mirror. It can help you notice patterns, strengths, and shadow habits so you can choose wisdom and clean action instead of repeating the same inner struggle in different forms. Two ideas will guide everything. First, 22 energy is often described as the ability to build, organize, lead, and turn vision into reality. But the shadow side can be pressure, perfectionism, fear of failure, and carrying the world alone. Second, the real secret is not whether you have special destiny, but whether you learn to balance power with peace, ambition with humility, and leadership with love. Because the most important building you will ever do is not only a career or legacy, but a stable mind and a compassionate heart. Let me tell you a story, because a story will make the 22 lesson feel like something you can actually live. Imagine a person named Jonah. Jonah was born on the 22nd. Since childhood, Jonah felt different, not in a dramatic way, but in a heavy way. While other kids played, Jonah noticed problems that needed fixing. While others dreamed casually, Jonah planned deeply. Jonah could look at a messy situation and immediately see structure. Adults praised Jonah for being mature. Teachers relied on Jonah. Family members said, "You will do something important. You are the responsible one." At first, Jonah liked that identity. Being responsible felt like being loved. But as Jonah grew older, the identity became a cage. Jonah started feeling that rest was lazy. Joy was optional. Mistakes were dangerous. Asking for help was weakness. And success was not only a desire, it was a duty. This is one of the first hidden roots of the 22 theme. When you are called strong early, you may learn to perform strength even when you are tired. You may learn to carry burdens silently. And you may confuse being needed with being valued. Jonah grows up and becomes skilled. Jonah gets a good job. Jonah becomes the person everyone depends on. Jonah solves problems. Jonah builds systems. Jonah manages teams. Jonah makes things work. From the outside, Jonah looks impressive. From the inside, Jonah feels anxious. Because the 22 shadow can be this. When your mind sees the whole mountain, you start worrying about every step. When you can imagine large outcomes, you can also imagine large failure. When you care deeply about building something meaningful, you can become terrified of building it imperfectly. So Jonah starts living in a constant mental calculation. What if I choose wrong? What if I waste time? What if I disappoint everyone? What if I fail? And then love enters the story. Jonah meets someone named Mira. Mira is warm, emotionally open, and values simple joy. Mira laughs easily. Mira is not careless. But Mira does not live in constant pressure. Being with Mira feels like breathing. Jonah feels calm around Mira at first, because Mira does not demand performance. Mira enjoys Jonah as a person, not only as a provider, but as the relationship grows, the 22 lesson becomes real. Mira wants closeness. Mira wants emotional presence. Mira wants Jonah to share burdens instead of carrying them alone. Mira says, "Talk to me. Let me in." Jonah wants to let Mira in. Jonah loves Mira. But Jonah also feels fear. Because letting someone in means being seen. And being seen means someone might witness weakness, doubt, or failure. Jonah begins doing what many high-responsibility people do. Jonah protects the relationship by controlling it. Jonah tries to plan everything. Jonah tries to manage the future. Jonah tries to avoid conflict by over-explaining. Jonah tries to fix feelings instead of feeling them. Jonah tries to make love efficient. Mira notices and says, "I do not need a project manager. I need a partner." That sentence hits Jonah like a bell. Because Jonah realizes something painful. Jonah has been building a life, but not always building intimacy. Jonah has been mastering structure, but not always mastering softness. This is where the 20 to truth becomes sharp. The master builder must also learn to build inner stability. Otherwise, the outer success becomes a throne made of stress. Now let us step back and talk about what people often say about the 20 to theme, but in a way that helps you instead of trapping you. Many numerology traditions describe 22 as master builder energy. Vision plus practicality. The ability to turn ideas into real structures, often connected with leadership, large projects, community impact, business, architecture, organization, teaching, and long-term legacy. Whether you believe that literally or not, it points to a real personality pattern many people recognize in themselves. Some people feel called to build. Some people naturally see systems. Some people feel responsible for outcomes. Some people carry the future in their mind. If that is you, here is the hidden danger. You can become addicted to carrying, and carrying can become identity. Then, when life asks you to rest, you feel guilty. When life asks you to receive love, you feel suspicious. When life asks you to be vulnerable, you feel exposed. So the spiritual lesson is not only success. The spiritual lesson is trust. Trust that you do not have to carry everything alone. Trust that mistakes do not destroy your worth. Trust that rest is part of wisdom. Trust that love does not require perfection. Trust that your destiny is not fragile. Now let us return to Jonah and Mira because the transformation is the most important part. One day, Jonah has a breakdown. Not a dramatic public breakdown. A quiet private one. Jonah comes home late. Shoulders tight. Eyes tired. Mind racing. Mira asks, "How was your day?" Jonah says, "Fine." Mira looks at Jonah gently and says, "I can feel you are not fine." Jonah feels tears rise, and that scares Jonah more than any deadline. Tears feel like loss of control. Jonah turns away. Mira does not chase. Mira simply sits near Jonah and says, "I am here." That presence makes Jonah cry harder, because Jonah realizes how long Jonah has been alone inside responsibility. Jonah finally speaks. Jonah says, "I feel like if I stop, everything will fall apart. I feel like I have to be strong all the time. I feel like my value is tied to what I build. I feel terrified of failing." Mira listens and says, "Thank you for trusting me with that. I do not love you because you perform. I love you because you are you. And I want you alive, not only successful." That sentence is medicine for a 22 heart. Because the biggest hunger behind high achievement is often simple. To be loved without proving. Jonah begins practicing a new kind of building. Jonah builds a nervous system that can rest. Jonah builds habits that protect sleep. Jonah builds boundaries at work. Jonah builds a relationship with emotion. Jonah builds humility. The courage to say I do not know. Jonah builds trust. The willingness to let someone help. This is the real master builder path. Not only structures in the world, but structures in the soul. Now, you might be thinking, what does this have to do with love, marriage, or destiny? Everything. Because a person with 22 patterns often attracts relationships where the karmic lesson is balance. They may attract partners who are free-spirited to teach them joy. They may attract partners who are emotionally expressive to teach them vulnerability. They may attract partners who resist control to teach them surrender. They may attract partners who demand presence to teach them that success is not intimacy. This is not punishment. It is growth through mirror. Now let us talk about the most common 22 challenges in relationships. Because this is where many people suffer quietly. One challenge is perfectionism. You want the relationship to be smooth. You want conflict to be resolved quickly. You want the future to be planned. But love is not a machine. Love is two nervous systems learning each other. When perfectionism enters love, you start managing your partner instead of meeting them. You start correcting feelings. You start offering solution instead of empathy. You start getting frustrated when emotions do not follow your timeline. The antidote is presence. Presence means you can sit with discomfort without forcing it to disappear. Presence is a kind of spiritual strength. Another challenge is control. You might control money. You might control decisions. You might control plans. Sometimes control is subtle, like you always need the final say, or you dismiss your partner's feelings as irrational, or you use silence to avoid vulnerability. The antidote is shared power. Shared power means you listen, you negotiate, you respect autonomy. Shared power is not weakness. Shared power is maturity. Another challenge is work as escape. Many builders escape into productivity because feelings feel messy. Work gives you a sense of competence. Love requires humility. The antidote is emotional literacy. Naming feelings. Fear, shame, sadness, loneliness. When you name it, you can work with it. Another challenge is over-responsibility. You believe it is your job to fix everything. You carry your partner, your family, your team, your future. Then you resent everyone quietly. The antidote is boundaries and asking for help. Asking for help is not losing. It is choosing sustainability. Now let us talk about the 20 to blessing, because it is real. When the 20 to energy is healthy, you can create extraordinary stability for yourself and others. You can build safe homes. You can build communities. You can build projects that help people. You can turn chaos into order. You can turn vision into real results. You can lead with integrity. But the blessing becomes pure only when the heart is included. A builder with heart becomes a protector. A builder with humility becomes a teacher. A builder with compassion becomes a healer. A builder with wisdom becomes a guide. Now, let us add another story layer. Because many people born on the 22nd feel spiritual pressure too. Imagine Jonah begins exploring spiritual practices. Jonah tries meditation. At first, meditation is torture. The mind will not stop. Jonah sits and the brain produces 1,000 tasks. Jonah feels guilty for sitting still. Jonah thinks, I should be doing something productive. Then Jonah learns a key teaching. Stillness is also building. You are building attention. You are building inner stability. You are building the ability to respond rather than react. You are building the foundation that makes outer work cleaner. So Jonah commits to a small practice, 10 minutes a day. No performance, just breathing, unnoticing thoughts. Over time, Jonah notices the mind is not the boss. Thoughts rise and fall. Fear rises and falls. Pressure rises and falls. Jonah learns that the inner storms are waves, not commands. This is awakening. Awakening is not always dramatic. It is the quiet moment you realize you do not have to obey every anxious thought. Now, another deep truth about 22 is this. Many people with this theme feel a strong sense of mission. Mission can be beautiful. Mission can also become obsession. When mission becomes obsession, you sacrifice health, relationships, and joy. So the karmic question becomes, what kind of legacy are you building? A legacy of money with a lonely heart is not a full legacy. A legacy of achievement with broken relationships is not a full legacy. A legacy of reputation with inner collapse is not a full legacy. A full legacy includes the quality of your mind and the kindness of your life. Jonah begins redefining success, not lowering standards. Redefining meaning. Success is doing good work without destroying my peace. Success is building with integrity. Success is having a home that feels warm. Success is being able to apologize quickly. Success is being present with the people I love. Success is being honest about my limits. This redefinition is powerful because it changes karma. Karma changes when intention changes. Now, let us connect this to love compatibility in a practical way. Because many viewers will wonder, who matches 22 energy? The healthiest partner is not someone who worships your ambition. The healthiest partner is someone who supports your vision and also protects your humanity. Someone who encourages your dreams and also encourages your rest. Someone who respects your strength and also welcomes your softness. Someone who can challenge your control with kindness. Someone who values honesty and repair. A partner who only admires your achievements can become dependent on your performance. That creates pressure. Pressure creates distance. Distance creates loneliness. A partner who is insecure around your ambition may sabotage you. That creates conflict. So compatibility is not about a number. It is about emotional skills and shared values. Can you communicate? Can you repair? Can you share power? Can you stay ethical? Can you support each other's growth? Those are the real signs. Now I want to speak directly to you if you were born on the 22nd or if you resonate with the pattern. You might feel called to build something meaningful. That is a gift. But please hear this gently. You are not here only to carry. You are not here only to produce. You are not here only to prove. You are here to live. Living includes rest. Living includes laughter. Living includes love. Living includes being held sometimes. If you are always the one holding everyone else, you will eventually collapse. And collapse is not failure. It is information. It is your body and soul demanding balance. Now let us bring the teaching into a closing scene. One evening, Jonah and Mira sit together on a couch. Jonah has had a stressful week. The old Jonah would have gone silent, buried in tasks, avoiding vulnerability. The new Jonah says, I feel pressure, and I feel scared. I want to be close to you tonight. Mira smiles and says, come here. They sit quietly. No big speech, just presence. Jonah feels a strange peace. The peace does not come from solving everything. It comes from not being alone inside it. This is the hidden truth you must know if you carry 22 energy. Your greatness is not only in what you build outside. Your greatness is in how you build your inner world. So your success does not cost your soul. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Share your story in the comments in your own words. If you resonate with 22 patterns, what is your biggest challenge? Pressure, perfectionism, control, over-responsibility, or fear of failure? And what practice has helped you most? Boundaries, meditation, therapy, honest communication, or something else? If you want more long-form talks about destiny, karma, love patterns, wisdom, compassion, and how to become your strongest self without losing your peace, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment so this community can keep growing. And if you want to support the work even more, consider joining as a member. Until next time, keep building, but build wisely. Keep leading, but lead with heart. And remember, the true master builder is the one who can create success and still remain gentle.